Hi and welcome back to Armchair Pundits. This is episode 4 of our second season. Today we have Cyril.
Hello.
We have Daryl returning.
Hey.
And we have Leon.
Good evening.
And of course you have myself, James. It's been a good weekend for the football for some. Obviously not for me as a Liverpool fan. It was a disastrous weekend.
Not for me as a Spurs fan. I think that was points thrown away, definitely.
And for Leon,
probably the same as Daryl, obviously.
But for
Man United, it was
for Cyril, we all asked the question: how are the new guys going to do? How's LVG going to do once he's got his superstars in? And I think it was, in some people's eyes, an emphatic yes, we're going to be fine, because obviously they won 4-0. For some people, it's like, well, Tottenham beat them 4-0, and they probably beat them 4-0 better. So is there really a big hype about how well Man United did? So our first topic will be of Man United along with the rest of the weekend before we move on to the Champions League. So as you're the Man United fan in the house, Cyril, we'll start with you.
I've always been a more of a long-term practical type of guy, so I'm not going to get carried away after 3 bad results and 1 good result. But the difference in this 1 good result is that the 3 previously poor results, we had none of our summer signings. Herrera wasn't there, Blind wasn't there.
Di Maria,
Herrera started.
Herrera did.
He didn't. That was his first.
He started the first game of the season.
Yeah, but he wasn't fully fit as well. So this is the first time we've had
fitness. Really fit.
Okay, look, yeah.
Pre-season. He was fully fit.
He was banging pre-season. I actually had him in my dream team.
Okay. Herrera started the first game, but didn't start the next 2.
Okay.
But Shaw hasn't started the game for us either, and he still didn't start. We finally had what looked like a cohesive midfield.
Did you change your formation?
No, it wasn't just a change of formation, it was a change of personnel. There's a big difference between Cleverley and Blind. There's a big difference between Ashley Young and Di Maria. Hopefully Ashley Young doesn't start or see another Man United pitch. There's a realistic chance that we don't see another Ashley Young, minute of the game, and that's amazing to me.
I had him in my dream.
Falcao, our team was so deep, we could start Falcao on the bench. And so, this is the new Man. This is what Man United were in the past, where you actually see what you could call a strong bench. Whereas before, recently, we had no bench to speak of. We're starting players that basically never started games before. Black has come in and he's done a decent job. But previously, that Blackhead won't be getting games for quote-unquote proper Man United. So.
Okay, so question. All of a sudden, you've won 4-0 and you're third previous winning league. Is that just nonsense? You jumped ahead of people of Arsenal because
people
you won 4-0 against QPR.
People getting carried away because of the way the performance played out, because everyone played so well that day. Sometimes...
But was it hard? We had this conversation. It would have been funny. I blame Harry Redknapp. He went there with the mentality, this is Man United again. We'll take what we can get. So we'll sit. There was no intensity in the attack. They sat back from the first minute. You sit back against Di Maria, it's over. You sit back against Rooney in that situation, it's over.
With the way we played, with the team we put out, I would have been very confident in beating every team that's not currently Man United, that's not Manchester City, Chelsea, or last season's Liverpool. This season's Liverpool, we would have had you guys. On that day, did you see Liverpool against Aston Villa? Did you see them?
Did you see Man U's first half?
No, what?
Did you see Man U's first half?
Yeah,
was it great first half?
We played within ourselves.
Did QPR not have chances?
Everyone has chances.
So a better team like Liverpool would surely take those chances.
Look at this.
Sterling would have started.
After 60 minutes, everyone could tell the Man U went into cruise control. We winded down. If we really wanted to and put the hammer down, that would have been more than 4-0. It's just because that we thought game's over, take it easy.
But it's QPR. Let's be honest. Tottenham could have done that. Tottenham, if they really wanted to, they could have hit 7 or 8 against them. The difference is, you play against a team that had no interest in anything apart from leaving Old Trafford. That's what they wanted to get in there and get out.
I don't know. I think we
were to try and get out for the rest of it. You're not giving us the London menu fans.
You're not giving us enough credit for making them look below par. We played them off the pitch. They felt inferior to us.
So did Tottenham.
Not to be funny, when you look at when players like when QPR players line up and then they see Di Maria, they see Rooney, they see Van Persie, they're thinking, let's just not get destroyed here today. And that's the fear factor that's coming back.
So I'll ask you that question. I'll ask you a question. Burnley, who just came up with them, they saw the same players apart from Di Maria and.
No, they saw Di Maria.
They saw Di Maria. So they didn't see Blind and they didn't see Rojo. Wasn't that the only two changes? That's the only two changes.
Plus the formation.
And you couldn't score.
We couldn't score. But you've also got to remember, home and away. Burnley, they're hyped up for being in the Premier League. They're not going to roll down for anyone.
QPR should be hyped up too.
Yeah, but QPR have been here. It's like a merry-go-round. QPR. They were in the Premier League just 2 seasons ago, and these players, the QPR players, they don't cherish it the way the Burnley players do. They're not merchants the way the QPR players are.
Let's get real. For QPR, they're not a fighting team. They're not a team that's going to battle. They're not a team that's going to come to Man U Stadium and put an effort in and try and get points, because that's not the makeup of their team. That's the whole reason why they went down 2 seasons ago. Mm-hmm. So your result against them is no different from Tottenham's result against them, and I don't see where all this Man U hypes come, and all of a sudden where your third favourites to win the title, unless we're talking the same talk like last season where you haven't got Europe like Liverpool did.
No, okay. The reason we're third favourites to win the title now is I think the market's corrected to show the strength of our current starting 11. I'll be honest with you, you can't say that Tottenham or Liverpool now have a better starting 11 than we do. If you're being honest with yourself, you can't say that.
No, we don't.
No, that's true.
So then why wouldn't we...
I'd say it's just as good.
No, come on, let's...
I wouldn't say it's just as good.
You're talking third favourites.
No, okay. Player for player, man for man, we have the third best starting 11 in the Premier League right now. Be honest.
I'm honest.
Let's not kid ourselves,
Apart from
James.
your defence,
Yeah, exactly.
apart from your defence,
that's the big
I'd
difference.
say
though.
okay, fair enough.
No, even if you look at our defence here, would you...
You're basing it on one game, by the way.
Okay.
You're basing your defence on one game.
Okay, so De Gea, people say he's top 3
You
goalkeeper
don't really
in the
have to
league.
explain De Gea.
Yeah, De Gea, Luke Shaw, left back. He's going to be a beast. He's currently now. He had a really good season for Southampton, yeah.
But Luke Shaw, Marino, there's for me, I wouldn't say Luke Shaw's better than Marino.
Yeah, come on, okay.
No
one else would agree. I don't think anyone else would probably agree.
Okay, tell me why he's better than Marino.
If you were building a team now, who would you take? Luke Shaw or Marino?
In England, they'll take Luke Shaw because he's English, but he's not a better player than Marino. For me, he's not a better player than
I
Marino.
actually don't think Luke Shaw's a better footballer.
He's not a better player than Marino. Technically, he's not as good as Marino. He's not.
I'll be honest, just like his price tag, I think Luke Shaw is...
He's overrated.
He's not overrated. I rate him high.
I think we got a better deal with Davis from Swansea, personally. For the money that we paid, there's not much difference between Davis and Shaw, in my opinion.
No, I don't think so either.
When Raphael is fit, he's an amazing right back. He gives you so much. He adds so much dynamicism to the team.
He's better than what Liverpool and Tottenham have as right backs. Fair enough.
Definitely better than the right backs.
Evans
Your
is
centre backs.
okay. No, I'll be honest here. I rate Jones as a centre back here. He's injured now, but if he was starting, I'm taking our starting 11. Jones is
Better than anyone we've got. Honestly, as a defender, man for man.
I'll be honest, Jones doesn't get into any of the top 4.
He doesn't get into it. He doesn't start for
He
Liverpool.
doesn't start for any of the...
He doesn't get into Tottenham.
Does Evans start for
Tottenham's back
Liverpool?
line.
No. Evans doesn't start for Liverpool either.
I think Evans on form does start for Liverpool.
When Evans on form is when? Evans on form when? How often?
Well, okay, I guess you could say he was in form because he was playing next to Vidic or Rio.
And how many years ago was that now? Seriously, how many years ago was that when you broke that record?
You gotta think about it. And he's had
It's like 3-4 years ago. But the last point is, do they value? Or I'll ask you each. Should they be third favourites? Cyril obviously says yes.
100% yes.
Definitely not. You can't put them ahead of Man City. You can't have them ahead of either one of Man City, Chelsea, or Liverpool.
But they're not. They're only ahead of. They're behind
Man
Man City.
If you're third favourites, you're ahead of one of those three. And there's no way.
Oh, so you don't think?
No way.
You don't think we should be ahead of Liverpool?
No.
Not yet.
No.
I actually had Man U as finishing the top 3 at the beginning of the season, so I'm just gonna have to stick with that.
Me? I don't think so yet. But possibly. I always say, when it gets to the second half of the season, we'll see where Man United are. If Man United is sitting in the top 4, then obviously it's going to be dangerous because you're not going to have the midweek games. But right now, because of the Aston Villa game, nah, I'm sorry. That's what people are basing on.
That's what I'm saying. We're basing all of this on 2 fixtures over the weekend.
To the Champions League. We had some good games yesterday and some bad games yesterday. So we had Real Madrid destroying Basel 5-1.
I wouldn't say it was a destruction. It was.
First half was destruction. Second half, they took their foot off the pedal, and there was a few cracks in there.
What do you need after 5-1?
But they showed cracks which they've shown already in the Spanish League.
Yeah, but
this
that's
season.
defense again.
So,
it's always
and
been that
again,
way.
it's Basel. You can only beat the team ahead of you, just like Man, you can only beat QPR that was ahead of them.
But the biggest game was the Dortmund Arsenal game, and how poor. Fair enough, they had 3 injuries in defence, but how poor Arsenal looked. I never watched the game because obviously I was watching the Liverpool game. Cyril watched a lot of the game.
I saw the game.
You guys watched the game, so
I want to make
what
a
was your
point.
view?
I want to make a point about the injuries that Arsenal claim to have. Not to be funny, Gibbs, Mertesacker, and Kachoni are 3 of their starting defenders anyway. So people saying they had 3 injuries at the back. No, they had 1. They had 1 injury because Gibbs will start for them if he's fit. Mertesacker and Kachoni, people were raving mad about them last season. How people saying they're the best partnership in Europe. They were saying they were the best partnership in Europe. And so they're missing Debussy, and now all of a sudden, defensive woes because of injuries. Debussy wasn't even there last season. So,
Your view, Daryl, on the game?
Again, I don't think their defensive injuries impacted the game in terms of what the result would have been anyway. I think that was a nice ploy by Arsenal, basically, to devalue the match and the result pre the result happening, because there's always going to get smashed by Dortmund. They always get smashed away from home against the top European teams, and that's what happened yesterday. It should have been more, let's be honest. 2-0 did not reflect that game. And as for Welbeck, it goes to show why some Man U fans are not upset that he's gone, because he could have made the difference yesterday. At one point it was 0-0, they had a clear-cut chance, puts that away, it changes the whole concept of that game.
Leon?
I think it comes back down to Arsenal's midfield, them not having a real
DM? Leader?
A real leader, a real DM, even within their whole squad. I actually don't think they have a leader in their squad, and they don't have a guy that's willing to put his body on the line to get other players by a scruff of the net and get them playing. Because if you look at all of the midfielders that they have in their team, they all like to play on the ball, but they didn't need someone on the ball yesterday. They needed someone to win the ball, and in midfield, all Dortmund kept doing was running, bombing. They had like 3 or 4 midfielders running at them all the time. They had Immobile out front on his own, and a couple of times he doesn't have pace. I didn't understand how he had so much time to run.
From what his own half.
I don't get how he was able to run so far without anyone even fouling him. Like no shirt pull, nothing, just free roll. And he's not quick.
Arsenal are not that team where they've got a player that does that.
That's what I'm saying. Fernando, Man City taking a yellow card. He's stopping the guy from scoring a goal. It's not the right way to play football. But what is the right way to play football? You do what you have to do to win. And Arsenal don't have those type of guys. They want to play football, and it's good to play football. But there's some games where you have to show grit and determination, and for me, they didn't show it, and that's why they got humbled. Should have been 8.
I think
they got taken apart by football though yesterday. Let's be honest, Dortmund played some amazing football. Let's not talk about how poor Arsenal
They
was.
have injuries.
Yeah, Dortmund
had
played
8 injuries.
Yeah, Dortmund played amazing football yesterday.
But okay, the way I look at Arsene Wenger has one way of playing football, the Arsenal way of playing football. He's not a tactician. He won't play game for certain teams. He just goes out there with the same strategy that's worked for him over.
That's because he believes that it's about focusing on your own team, but what you've got to do is tune your players into knowing how to deal with the opposition.
Because then it's like if a team has a weakness, he's not exploiting that weakness because his game plan is not geared towards exploiting a team's weakness. His game plan is just to get players on the ball, move the ball around, play quick ticky-tacky football like a Barcelona 2.0. They don't have the players, they don't have the skill in the team, they're not good enough, they're not coached well enough. So there's really no excuse for him to not game and plan with specific.
But question, you say they don't have the players. I would disagree. They have bar one. They have the players, but is he playing in the right system? You have when you have Ozil. Exactly. Or when you have Ozil, you spend 40-something million on Ozil and then play him wide. That's not his position. You spend that much money on a genuine number 10, you put him in a number 10 position. You buy a Cazorla, you put him wide. So he goes out and buys all these fantastic players that can play through the middle and sticks them wide.
You buy Arteta.
Okay, I think what we got to remember is like Ozil's been on a bad run of form since last season. Like this
When he
was
started playing wide, he's never played centrally
Even
for them.
for Germany, they put him out
Yeah,
wide.
they
He
did
was
put him
ineffective.
out wide.
But
That's
remember,
true.
before he went to Arsenal, he was playing centrally for Germany. Arsenal put him out wide, and they've put him in a funk. And that's what's happened to him. You can't blame him. Like Balak said today on TV, he's never been a fighter. Never ever. Never been that guy to shout, to scream, to fight, and to dig in and to track back. So you put him in that hole.
I actually
and
think
you
he got pushed out there because of Ramsey.
He definitely did because
Ramsey hit form.
Ramsey was playing a lot better playing in the double pivot last season, but he's told Ramsey to push up more to try and get him to get more goals in, and as a consequence, that means Ozil goes
Has
out
to go
wide.
somewhere, and that's been a
You
problem.
can't bench Ozil. He's Arsene Wenger's most expensive player. He has to play him, but he's looking at Ramsey as, oh, Ramsey's flourishing. Ramsey's becoming a world beater. Let me give
So
him.
what happens when Walcott comes back? You've got Walcott, who has to play wide right. Let's be honest. Sanchez,
Why did he have to play wide? Why did he have to play
Somebody
wide?
has to play some.
because he's bought Welbeck. He's gonna put his faith. It's Wenger. He's put his faith in Welbeck. So Welbeck will start through the
Wenger's
middle.
put his faith in Welbeck.
Yeah.
Or the Arsenal board.
Well, someone has. To the point where he's brought in, he's going to play centre forward until Giroud gets fully fit. You have Sanchez, who has to start. Let's be honest.
Well,
you have to start wide.
Let's be honest.
So where are you going to play your most expensive player? Is he going to have to move Ramsey out?
I think, people were saying if Wenger's played something like a 4-2-3-1, he could make it work. He could have Walcott, Ozil, Alexis, Welbeck, and then he can have Ramsey with a Flamini or a proper DM in there as the two in midfield.
But is he willing to drop Wilshere? Because this season, I don't think he's actually willing to. He sees this as Wilshere's season.
That's because everyone's saying this has to be Wilshere. This has to be Wilshere's
Well,
season.
if Wilshere plays in the same position that he's playing for England, then Ramsey and Wilshere can work in the midfield.
I don't think it won't work in big games to have Ramsey and Wilshere as a two in midfield because they'll be exposed. Because Wilshere doesn't like to track back. He's not good going backwards. He's good going forwards, but going back defensively.
He'd end up being the anchorman. He'd have to play from there. Like
I think
England
we've
trying to
seen
make
how
him
many
play.
times has Jack Wilshere tried to make tackles and got himself injured.
He's injured now, so he got injured yesterday.
There you go.
He did his ankle
It's
yesterday.
not a DM, man.
So,
it's
okay,
not.
we'll move on to the Liverpool game for the last few minutes. Me, yesterday, I was upset. I'll be honest. I did say before the game,
You stole a victory.
I did say before the game that don't expect a 5-0 or 4-0 because we're playing Ludogorets who people didn't know. I knew of them because I saw them in the Europa League.
They were underestimated. I grant you that they were.
They were
definitely
underestimated.
and they proved it yesterday. I didn't underestimate them yesterday. I knew it was going to be a tough game, but I think he was lucky, and you got away with one with the penalty at the end of the game. I'm not saying it wasn't a penalty.
It wasn't. I'll be honest, it wasn't a penalty. I saw
He
very,
looked for it.
I saw very minimal contact.
He looked for it. He looked for it and he got
I'm
it.
grateful. I'm grateful that we got it because we won the game, and with Real Madrid winning, that's both of us on 3 points. With winning the next game, we're almost halfway there to qualify. So I'm happy for that. But Balotelli got his goal. My fear, I said it on here, my fear when we signed Balotelli was the way we play is movement up top. He was so static for 60 minutes. It was just.
But that
it
is
was
Balotelli.
so frustrating
That
to
is
see.
what everyone knows. That's what he's like. That's why City got rid of him.
He has to have for me. He has to have a partner. That's the problem. He should have gone with the diamond from the beginning. Played even Lambert, who hasn't got as much movement, but played someone that's there with him, or as much as everyone hates it, play Barini there. You have to play someone because when
Is his shoulder fixed yet?
well, it is now. It got fixed on the 2nd of September.
Oh really?
After
Just
it
after the
closed.
Champions window, transfer window. Very convenient.
The simple fact is, when Barini came on, Barini and the 2 subs, and Lucas, I was like, are you kidding me? We're fighting to win this game, and the first 2 subs are Barini and Lucas. Everyone was there tearing their hair out, but the actual truth of the matter is, they did change the game for us.
It worked.
It worked.
Believe
The
it or
goal
not,
conceded.
Barini made a difference.
He did. The goal conceded. Millionaire again. I'm sorry. People may say it's further
Position
up.
was so
It's nothing
poor.
like why he didn't need to come out. If he stays in his,
ball though.
no, but if he stays in his goal, then
He's
you
got a
have
difficult
you
angle.
have
Yeah.
that difficult angle. You have Lovren doesn't have to go to ground. Lovren can carry on running and close the angle, but because he comes out, he has to close it down.
To be honest with
poor.
you, it was a poor game, but I think it was a little bit of stage fright. It was the first game Liverpool back in the Champions League after 5 seasons. The players were I think there's a little bit of anxiety there. When Tottenham played their first Champions League, it was 4-0 at half time. And then we came and made it 4-3 just to make the score look.
But weren't you playing Inter Milan?
We were playing Inter Milan, but it's the same. The only difference between our game and your game is the fact that we got humbled in the beginning and then managed to salvage some pride from the game. You guys have managed to salvage 3 points, which was more important than salvaging pride sometimes. And in this instance, because of your group and the way it is, I think it was really important that you got that win, because I don't think the game against Basel will be straightforward either.
It won't be. So, final word on it. Will we qualify as Liverpool, and will Arsenal qualify? So, Cyril, will Arsenal and Liverpool qualify?
Yeah, both second.
Daryl?
I agree, both second, definitely.
Yeah, quite easily. I think both will qualify. No problems.
I think both will qualify as well. Liverpool will finish second. Real Madrid, are we going to win? Maybe at Anfield, but at Bernabeu, I very much doubt it. And on to the other Premier League matches. We had Chelsea, who look like, as Leon said, are going to dominate and win this league.
Yeah, definitely.
We had Tottenham, who, as you two have said, weren't too happy with your result this weekend. So we'll start off with Chelsea and then we'll move on to Tottenham. Chelsea winning convincingly. Costa, who some people wrongly said that he won't do it in the Premier League, it's going to be a big adjustment. How about 7 goals in 5 games?
How about where is his hamstring injury that he keeps getting? I don't see it. The guy keeps scoring.
He had it last year.
Every time a hamstring injury comes, and there's an added goal each week.
Yeah.
So the first of all, there was 1 goal, then there was 2, now there's 3. How many injuries has he got?
Look, you can't take Chelsea.
It's Mourinho.
You can't take Chelsea's injury speculations
seriously
as truth, because Jose Mourinho's back there and we all know he's a man of mind games, and right now he's messing up a lot of people that
Fantasy league teams.
get hyped about his hamstring. Costa is key to Chelsea, and let's be honest, if he had any form of serious hamstring doubts, he wouldn't be playing. If they had a situation where if he played and he could be potentially out for 3-4 months, they wouldn't take the risk. He's too key to Chelsea. So unless they say he's definitely not playing, I'm not believing a word of it.
I won't believe it till I don't see him on the pitch.
Until we don't see him in the starting lineup.
Trust me.
So has Mourinho performed a masterstroke with the signings he bought, and then to top it off, getting Remy in? Remy came on, and
I don't think you can actually call them masterstrokes, because if you
it's completely set.
No, but what I mean is, I don't think they're masterstrokes because you're buying quality. When you're buying quality, there isn't that much you can worry about unless the player doesn't adapt. But if you look at Costa, perfect for the Premier League, with a better touch than Drogba. He's got all the attributes that Drogba has and a better touch to go with it.
And he's up for the fight, he's up for the battle.
He loves the battle. Fabregas, already Premiership proven, already an even better player, come back from Barcelona, even better player than when he left to go to Barcelona in the first place. And then you've got Felipe Luis, who hasn't even touched pitch yet.
Until today.
Until Champions League.
I'll be honest, a lot of things have gone right for Chelsea. They've got top market value for their players. Somehow they were able to sell Lukaku for 28 million, even though he was surplus to requirements there. In January they were able to sell Mata for 37 million, he was surplus to requirements there. And they've brought in players for, like, who in their right minds would say, I'll take Lukaku over Costa and save myself 4 million? Nobody would.
No one, but you got to look at it. Lukaku has been, over the last 2 seasons, been the 3rd top goal scorer in the Premier League, combined. Goals combined over the last 2 seasons, he's 3rd top goal scorer, and he's been played for 2 separate teams and managed to get more than 15 goals for both.
No, I'm not saying Lukaku's not. I'm not saying Lukaku, but I'm saying that the fact that this just shows how good of a business Chelsea have done. To get Fabregas for 32 million.
Yeah, it's all buyout clauses and Barca. He was surplus to requirements at Barcelona.
I'll put it down to Mourinho, because he already assessed that Chelsea team before he got there. He knew exactly what he wanted last year before he got into this season. He wasn't fussed about trying to win the league last season. He knew his transfer targets. He got them in early, and that was key.
So we now move on to Tottenham. How was your result?
Well, I think
it's the result that was the poor thing.
2-2 performance and result. Yeah, and you've now made your new captain. Eunice Kabul.
Yeah,
What
not
your
sure
views on
about that at all. I was expecting Kabul to leave, to be honest with
I
you.
ain't gonna lie. I wanted Kabul to leave. I would have let Kabul leave and just take Fazio. I wouldn't even said we need to sign anyone else.
So who would be your first two choices if you were to pick the team? Who are your first two centre backs?
Mine,
Would be Karish's and.
Kirikesh and Vertonghen are my first two centre backs, definitely.
I'd agree.
So your captain is, in your eyes, your fourth best centre back.
Mine would have been Lloris.
My captain is Hugo Lloris. I voted him for player of the season last season. I think he was completely overlooked for that.
But is it not because there's a possibility he might be leaving next year?
I think that's a
The rumour is
possibility.
he's leaving
Well,
next year.
But
I suppose if we don't get
He's
Champions
still
League,
going to be captain this
if we don't get Champions League, maybe that will be the case. But at the end of the day, you got to think positive, and at the end of the day, you make him captain. It makes it harder for him to then leave possibly next
theory,
season.
and he's a vice captain anyway, so
exactly.
I'm sure there's a point where Kabul will get dropped, and he will assume vice captain role at some point anyway.
How do you see your season going?
6th, I said at the start of the
I said
season.
6th at the start of the season. I think a slight improvement on last season, but it's a building stage for us again. I think we took 2 steps back last season, selling Bell and with some of the madness that went on with the managerial changes. So we've got to make 2 steps forward, and we'll make one this season hopefully, and improve maybe on 6th, maybe 5th. But that's as far as I can see us going. Really, we're not going to.
I think just restoring some of the pride, which was the key for Pochettino when he came in. He said he wanted to restore the fans' pride in the team and making sure that when we went into every game, going in thinking that we could win and imposing ourselves. If we can do that, then getting Europe again, I'll be happy.
Okay, so finally we have the big game this weekend. We have Man City versus Chelsea. I'm not sure where it is, whether it's City versus Chelsea, Man City, or Chelsea versus Man City.
It's Man City at home.
Man City at home. So last year, Mourinho did actually pull off a masterstroke.
Definitely.
Went there and did what no one else really does and got the victory. They've really lost to Stoke at home. So are they going to have the nerves, Man City? After playing Munich today, are they going to have the nerves with Man City coming?
Well, I think this is
So with Chelsea coming?
This is gonna be Man City's 3rd big game, in 7 days.
Yeah.
They looked decent at times against Arsenal, but when Arsenal got on top and got in control, they looked like the better side, and they were lucky to get the draw in that match. The game now against Dortmund, against Bayern, they looking again slightly susceptible, and I think Chelsea will flourish from their results and probably do the job personally.
On current form, I'd probably favour Chelsea ever so slightly, but Chelsea be away team, Man City are at home. We know how much of a fortress Etihad has been in recent seasons.
Okay,
Yeah,
it wasn't for Chelsea last year. That's the thing.
yeah, okay. It wasn't for Chelsea,
And
and,
they've got a better team.
they lost to Stoke. But on average, that's what only their 4th defeat in how many years? Yes, they've still got an amazing record. there.
4th in 3 years.
They've still got an amazing record there. They're gonna have. Both teams are going to be probably, as far as I'm aware, close to full strength on the weekend. The only person missing from Man City is going to be Jovetic, who's confirmed injured. But other than that, you're going to see a full strength Man City team, a full strength Chelsea team. I think it's going to be an amazing game. Actually, I think people are overhyping Chelsea a little bit based on their start. Yeah, Costa has got 7 goals in 4 games, but.
But it's the Fabregas fact as well, though. Fabregas and Costa,
and they've got
Hasn't
Felipe
even
Luis
started
to
yet.
come in.
Hasn't started yet. Hasn't kicked.
Oscar.
But then, in saying that, Yaya Toure hasn't kicked on for
Well,
Man
yeah.
and he hasn't started for Man City yet. Silva hasn't really played up to his best yet. Aguero's been really protected as well, so we haven't seen the best of Man City yet. So we haven't seen the best of them, but we're seeing the current best of Chelsea, in my opinion.
And that's
why people are looking at Chelsea as the more likely favourite. But I think if both teams played up to their 100% performance, it'd be a really close
Okay,
game.
but we say we're seeing the best of Chelsea, but with what they have to rotate, do you not think that they could possibly maintain this standard?
I think they could.
For
I
the
think
rest
the
of the
difference
season.
is we haven't seen Chelsea play a big game yet. This is their first big game, and then we'll really see whether Mourinho has changed his philosophy a little bit, because he hasn't. Right now, he's played Matic and he hasn't played a second DM in midfield unless
I
he's
think he will this game.
exactly. And how would then Chelsea look? How would Chelsea look with a 3-man midfield rather than having 2 sitting and you got the 3 behind the striker? It'll be different. It's going to be a completely different game. I don't think it's going to be a good game. I actually think it's going to be a really boring game, and it's going to be I think Chelsea will probably get us to do a smash and grab.
But you say that, but Chelsea this season they've conceded a lot more goals in the first few games than they have in the
because
past.
he's changed the
Because
formation.
he hasn't
He's changed
played-
it. He hasn't played
that way.
3 men in
Yeah.
midfield.
He hasn't gone defensive.
So Ramirez is going to come in.
Definitely. Ramirez will come in definitely.
Ramirez or Mikel, one of the two. Probably Ramirez because he's more reliable than Mikel.
He's better vertically as well. It gets up and down the pitch.
Yeah.
So our view is, we think scoreline or just win or
No,
loss.
scoreline. Why not?
Scoreline.
2-1 Man City.
1-0 Chelsea.
2-1 Chelsea.
I'll probably go with a 2-2. I think. I think it's going to be a draw. I think they cancel each other out. So that's it for this week. Thank you very much.